Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ITS388J. And in this video, I'm going to go over the section 7.8 on unit testing. All right, so, this just has to do with, you should test your stuff. You should test your methods and so on after you write them. And this sort of gives you a nice systematic approach to doing it. Unit testing needs to create and run a test bench for a unit, like a method or a class or so on. So, and it says, features of a good test bench include automatic checks. You want to, values are compared for conciseness. Only failures are printed, so on. Anyway, so read through this. Regression testing means, you will retest an item if any time something changes in the class and so on. Now, one thing you got to make sure of is that your tests are correct. You don't want to have incorrect tests, and that's what this section is about here. And so let's go to the challenge activities here and get through these, and we can see these are. Okay, so the first one here is, all right, so we have a class called rectangle, and it looks like there's an integer height and an integer width, and you can set the size by defining the height and the width. And you can get out the area, and you can get out the perimeter. And if we look at this right here, we see that the perimeter is this formula for the perimeter is wrong. It's the width times the height times 2, or width times 2 plus height times 2. So this should be a plus sign. Okay, so so in this case, so it says up here below, there's always a unit test failure. What they're saying is that as we go through here, there's always going to be, one that hits. And it's either going to hit because the method that we're testing is wrong, or it's going to hit because the test that tests the method itself is wrong. The test is wrong. Okay, so let's see what it is for this first one here. So let's look at the method. It's okay. So this formula looks correct. It's the height times 2 plus the width times 2. Oh, this is wrong. The area is not height times height. The area is height times width. So that's the error that's in this method. This class definition, rectangle class. Okay, so let's see what the output will be. So what's wrong is the area. Area is the only one that's wrong. So here's an area and here's an area. Perimeter is correct. So well, let's see, let's take the first one. The area, the size, 1 times 1. Okay, that's not gonna fail because it takes the height. It's height times width. So it just takes this twice, but that's what this is. So that's going to be okay. The perimeter is 2 plus 2 is 4. So that should be okay. It should be 4. Okay, so now let's try 2 and 3. This is going to fail. This is going to fail because the area, see, get size is 2 and 3. Yeah, the get area is 2 and 3 will be here, but the area is height times height. So yeah, this one will be wrong. So it's going to print this one out, I believe, or 2, 3. Right? And then the perimeter is fine. Perimeter is 2 times 2 is, it's 2 times 2 plus 2. It's going to be 2 plus 3 is 5 times 2 is 10. So that's going to, okay, so let's see if this is right. Yeah, good. All right, let's do the next one. All right, first of all, let's look at the rectangle class. Okay, so it doesn't matter what is input. It's going to be set to 3. Height is going to be set to 3, and the width is going to be set to 4. So that's wrong. The set size does not work. It's always going to be set to that. Get area, that looks correct. And height times 2 plus width times 2, that looks correct. Okay, so it's the set size, it doesn't work. It's always going to be 3 and 4. So let's see what we do here. So get area is not equal to 4. Yes, because 3 times 4 is 12. So this is going to be it's going to print this out. And the perimeter is not equal to 10. What's the perimeter is going to be 3 plus 4 is 7 times 2 is 14. So the perimeter is going to be 14. So this is going to be wrong. Print out also. Dang. And the perimeter, the area is 3 times height times width. 3 times 4 is 12. So this will not print out because 3 times 4 is 12. And this is going to come back as 12, not because it's 2 and 6, but because of 3 and 4. And so this will not print out. For this one, the perimeter is going to be 3 plus, it's going to be 3 plus 4, 7 plus 14. And so this is going to output. It's not going to be 16. I think this is right. Let's see. Very good. I'm so big. All right, let's do the last one. All right, let's look at the class. Height and width, that's correct. Area is height times width, that's correct. And the perimeter is height times 2 plus width times 2, that's correct. So there's going to be an error in the test itself. Let's see which one it is. The size, if it's 1 and 1, the area is 1 times 1 is 2. Area is 1 times 1 is 1. And this says, so this is going to print out. Because this test is wrong. The area should be 1, and this tests to make, this says if the area is not equal to 2, then output that, so that's wrong. Perimeter is 1 plus 1 is 2 times 2 is 4, so this is wrong. This is going to be wrong. Goodness. And here we're setting the size to 2 and 3. And the area is going to be 2 times 3 is 6. So this is going to be wrong. Boy, what's going on here? And 2 times 3 is 2 plus 3. 2 times 4 plus 6 is 10. So this is correct. And so this should be fine because the parameter will be correct. All right, so that's what I think it is. Well, there you go. All right, one more. Write a unit test for add inventory, which has an error. So add inventory has an error. This has an error. Right. Should be if num items is greater than 0 or something, I suppose. Yeah. All right, so we're supposed to write a unit test, and we're going to call, first we're going to call this with an argument. This is the argument, the sweater shipment. There's a sweater shipment that comes in. We're going to say add this sweater shipment to the red sweater inventory. Print the shown error if the subsequent quantity is incorrect. And so sample output for a failed unit test, given initial quantity is 10 and the sweater shipment was 50. Okay, so we're supposed to write some sort of unit. Where are we supposed to write my code? Oh, here. All right, so okay, so first this gets printed out, and then this gets printed out, and then this gets, okay, so how can we test that? Well, there is a particular inventory in there, so let's get what that is. I'm going to say it's going to this is the sweater shipment. The sweater shipment is what has come in, and this is what the inventory was before the sweater shipment. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add red sweater dot add inventory parentheses sweater shipment. Okay, so what this does is this adds the sweater shipment to the red sweater inventory. And so now I have to test if the red sweater get quantity remaining, that's this right here. If that is not equal to the sweater inventory before plus the sweater shipment. Okay, if it's not true that the quantity remaining after adding the sweater shipment, if it's not true that that is equal to the sweater before the inventory plus the sweater shipment, if that's not true, then there's an error. So I'm going to say system out print line, say space unit test failed colon space add inventory quote close semicolon and then end the if. So that's what I think the answer is. Let's see. Oh, this is not a variable. It should be this variable. Well, anyway, you can fix that. All right, let's go on to constructor overloading. So, so far we've only talked about one kind of constructor, but we can have more kinds of constructors. And so here we have a plain old ordinary constructor that just initializes something, and then we can have another kind of constructor where we actually have as parameters into the constructor the initialization values for the variables. You see, and so they call this overloading of the constructor. So, and the way it tells which one to use is simply by the number of parameters. See, this one has no parameters and this one has 2. So if you call restaurant with no arguments, it's going to execute this one. But if you call restaurant with 2 arguments, it's going to execute this one. If you call restaurant with 1 argument, it's not going to, there's going to be an error, or it's going to be an error. So, so that's, you've taken a look at this. Is there a challenge? There is 2 challenges. Okay, let's see what this one is. Enter the output of the constructor overloading. Okay, so let's look at the pet class. And we have a plain old constructor here, and then we have another constructor here where you can input the pet name and then the year, the age in years. All right, so let's start this up, and let's look at no name and -9999, and then name and age, comma in between. Okay. So the first one is dog, a pet named dog that had no, we didn't use any, no arguments to the constructor. So we end up with the first one, which is no name -9999. No name, comma space, that's this right here, comma space, and then -9999. And it is a print line, so I'm going to do it this. And then the next one is cat has a name and an age. So when we print cat, it's going to be Simba, comma, space 3, enter. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay, what's next? This one, pet is unnamed or -1, or you can just enter in an age. If it's a single parameter pet constructor gives the age, and then of course two parameters gives the name and the age. And you when you write it out, it's the name followed by comma space and then the age. So let's see what's printed out here. Dog, it's dog, cat, bird. Dog, cat, bird. So dog is going to be unnamed, comma space -1, and then bird or cat is going to be an age of 2 but unnamed, so unnamed, comma 2, and then the bird is going to be kiwi, comma 8, enter. Oh no. Unnamed. Oh, look, it's no name, not unnamed. Oh, no name. This should be no name. Oh, look, it's interesting. Okay, anyway, so you can fix that. And then this third one here is constructor overloading. We're supposed to write a second constructor as indicated, sample output. Okay, so we have a phone plan, which is initialized when there's no parameters as 00, and we want to have a phone plan where we have a min, fmin, int, fmin, comma, int, fmess. How's that? And what's going to happen is 3 minutes will equal fmin, and 3 messages will equal fmess. I think. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, very good. Okay, so I've done 7, 8, and 7, 9. Let's just take a peek at 7, 11. Okay, so let me just it's done, right? Okay. Objects and references. So all this says is a reference is a variable type, and it refers to an object. So it's like the address of the object. So here we're creating a this is the variable is travel time, and it points to it points to a time our min object. Hasn't been created yet, but that's what travel time is going to point to eventually. Here we set travel time equal to pointing to a new time hour min object that we've just created, and time hour min is it's something that's got two variables. It's got an hour's value and a minute's value. So that's shown here. Anyway, so and you can have multiple object references. Okay, so here we have a variable called last run, which points to a runner info object but hasn't been created yet. And then we have another variable called cur run, which points to a runner info object, and we actually create a runner info object for it to address or point to. And so this actually does point to something. And this sets the time of current run, this sets the distance of current run. This writes out the run speed, based on the time and the distance, I guess. And then we set last run is equal to current run. So last run is going to be pointing to the same object, because current run is just an address to an object, and so this last run is also an address to an object. So this is going to set whatever current run is pointing to the same. So when these execute, this is going to change the same ones, and so this also changes what the current run values are. So that's what it's. So anyway, sometimes we may name the parameters the same as the private variable. See, here we have a parameter called side length, and we have here is a private variable called side length. And so how do you distinguish the two? Well, if there's any ambiguity, you put the word this in front of the private one. So this side length here is referring to this one, and this side length is referring to this one. So anyway. Okay, yeah, this field is field. It's this one. All right, so that's that, and so make sure you pay attention to that. Here's a challenge, a couple of challenges. Let's do these. Enter the output for this operator. Okay, so here we have a class called airplane, and it just has one private field called elevation. And when you create a new instance of an airplane, the elevation is 0. And here you can set the altitude, and here it prints out the altitude in meters. So let's start this up. And we have this 0 elevation, meters. Okay, so here, we're going to create a new instance of this class airplane called Boeing 747. And we're going to set the altitude to 14,000, and then we're going to print whatever this is, and that's going to be 14,000 space meters. Enter. I think. Yes. Okay, the next one is available seats. Looks like airplane can be the first parameter. No, the first parameter is the first argument is going to be the total seats. If you go to, so here we're going to set the available seats equal to 400, and here we're just printing out the available seats, and so it's going to print seats colon space 400. Enter, because it's a print line. And this is just simply returns to get available seats. Yeah, wait a second. Available seats. Oh yeah, because when we initialize it, it's 0. We initialize it, yeah, because no seats have been issued or sold. All right, I think this is the right answer. So what did I do wrong? Total seats and available seats. Oh, let's see, I must be, oh, I wasn't paying attention to that. What is that? Oh, passengers. Oh, subtracting passengers. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. Let's do it again. All right, now we have seats and passengers, seats minus passengers. We've got 200 minus 80 available seats. Seats equals seats colon space 200 minus 80 is 120, correct? Yeah. All right, what's the last one? New add, okay, we're gonna start out with an Airbus, and the total seats is 200. Okay, so an Airbus is 200, and then we can add passengers, and then we're gonna available seats goes down. Okay, got it. Okay, so we're gonna 200 minus 19 is 1 181, I think. 181 seats. Enter. Yes. All right. One more. What's primitive? Okay, right. All right. Good. This is the last one, and then after that, it's going to be an array list. So this will be the last one of this video. This implicit parameter. Define the missing method. Use this to distinguish the local member from the parameter name. Okay, so we already have this in here. Oh, look, num days and num days. I'm just going to quickly guess that it's this num days equals num days. And I'm going to just guess, and I'm going to really quick go, okay. All right. So that I took you just finished a few more challenges, and hope this helps. Thanks for watching.